Hi guys, it's Markeisha at the Markeisha Hall podcast, and I wanted to come on and bring you a bonus episode. Yep, bonus episode 1. How do I already have a bonus episode when I just got started? Well, on October 10th, we had a chat with some special needs dads, and it received great reviews. So I wanted to make sure that I shared that with you. So you'll have a chance to listen to Andre Hall, Jennifer Oglesby, and Barry Oglesby on some things that special needs dads have on their mind. Enjoy. So we're going to give you guys a chance to introduce yourselves and tell us how many kids you guys have, and then we'll go into a conversation. So Barry, you could go first. Oh, and thank you for doing this on a Saturday.
No problem at all. My name is Barry Oglesby. I have 4 boys, ages 16, 15, 11, and 7. And we're also in the process of adopting a little girl who's 3, who will be 4 in the next month or so. And my oldest son, Bryce, is special needs. He was diagnosed with autism at age 4.
Age 4, okay.
Actually, age 5.
It was age 6, but that's okay.
I was close.
That's what we're talking about.
It's close, Barry. Good job.
Very well. Just 2 years.
Well, I assisted first before he got diagnosed, so I'm going off of my internal diagnosis.
You get credit, Barry. You get credit.
And here we have.
You get credit, Barry. There you go. All right. So my name is Andre Hall. Obviously, my wife, Markeisha, we have 4 kids. Taylor, Aiden, Jordan, and obviously Josiah. We adopted him at age 2.
He was coming to our home at 2.
Yeah, okay.
He wasn't adopted at 2.
We adopted him.
We adopted him in 2018.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
2, he was ours. So
okay.
Exactly.
2.
I agree with Dre.
I agree with Dre. All right. Taylor 17, Aiden 14, and Jordan 11. So obviously the 3 boys and my only daughter. So that's where we are.
And if you guys want to talk about your wives a little bit.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, Barry. Yeah.
That's my wife. Is there anything else that you want to know? No. That's my wife, Jennifer. She is wonderful, and she has a career surrounded, well, essentially working with people that have special needs, toddlers up to very grown adults, and so she's very familiar with the industry, and so she definitely runs that part of our family because that's her area of expertise. Okay, excellent. And I'll just stop you because there's so many things that Drake can say. And we're not here for that right now. We're here to talk about special needs dads, because every time I do a post, Dre's always saying to include the dads.
Exactly.
And so that's what we're here to talk about. So why do you think that? Well, first we can go back and let's talk about when your son was diagnosed, because that was on Bryce is 16. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was a long time ago. Autism wasn't as, we weren't as aware as about it. And so I know that it was different from the resources that we have. Josiah's he'll be 6 next week. So there's different resources that are available now, and more people are aware. So what was it like back then for you?
In terms of the resources, or just in terms of when he was diagnosed?
The resources, how he's diagnosed, what was available, and
sure,
what was it
yeah.
like? Yeah. Sure,
yeah. So Bryce was officially diagnosed at age 6. And even though he was officially diagnosed at age 6, as parents, I think that we sensed something was amiss with him much earlier. One of the things that I always point to was the fact that Brian is actually 1 year younger than Bryce, and so when they were maybe 2 and 1, we started to see a gap in terms of how they were developing and how they were, and so we knew that something was a little off. And so obviously, there was no official diagnosis, but we knew that there was something there. In terms of resources, I don't think there were nearly as many resources available back then as they are now. And also, you know, we didn't have information or knowledge about him. And so it was, you know, difficult back then. You know, obviously now autism has been pushed to the, you know, forefront with children because there's, you know, many more diagnoses and everything. So it's a lot easier. But yeah, but like, you know, back then it was kind of tough. You know, we didn't know a lot about, you know, and then also, you know, there's always a stigma around like autism and actually something being wrong with your child, you know, and that was our firstborn son. And so that really hit us hard, you know, but I think that the biggest thing, or like I say, one of the biggest things actually happened was that when we went to the regional center and we were talking with one of the psychologists there, and, you know, and she told us, listen, so, you know, whether you want to, you know, get your child officially, you know, diagnosed with autism, or if he doesn't get diagnosed, he still has it. And so the difference is going to be, what are you going to do about it? And that really, you know, spoke to us, and that really kind of lit a fire under us. And so we said, hey, listen, we need to make sure that Bryce has the best resources to actually deal with this and to be successful in life.
Right.
And obviously, Barry, you had kids before we even had Josiah. But I know one of the things that you just said, just making sure that he had the resources he needed to be productive and have a successful life. And so when we look at it now, that's what we fight for. Obviously, I'm not going to list all the things my wife can do, and educationally, she has so many things that at her fingertips. But as a dad, just speaking as a dad, I want him to have a good life. I want him to have an independent life. And so many situations, we want training for him to have those things, to be able to do, you know, be independent on his own and be able to be successful just like any other typical kid. And so I know the resources that are available now are much more prevalent than what you guys had. I mean, 10 years ago. Yeah. And so I know just from that perspective, I feel blessed. You know, I know that had to be a struggle for you guys early.
Yeah,
it was.
I think so too. Something that Barry brought up was that that's difficult. What I hear is difficult. I'm not a dad, so is even hearing that your son has a diagnosis. Sure. I know maybe growing up, people are like, oh, I want to have my son and we're going to play, well, for you guys, because you guys both love sports a lot. It's in the back right now on the TV. You know, just being like, oh, they're going to play what I played, and we're going to play football together, and we're going to watch the Saints, and we're going to go Laker games and things like that. And sometimes, depending on the severity of the diagnosis, that may or may not be the case. And so how does that, I don't want to say how does that feel, or how did you deal with that initially?
So I think every dad, you know, has this, you know, sort of fantasy, you know, that his son is going to be the best, you know, player at, you know, whatever sport that he likes. You know, I love basketball, you know, and so I was like, you know what, Bryce is going to be the next Michael Jordan, right? You know, and that's what you're thinking, you know, when she was pregnant, you know. And I remember maybe about 15 minutes after Jen found out that she was pregnant, and so we went to a shopping center. This is kind of random, and I remember like seeing this little boy. He's maybe like 4 or 5, and I was just thinking, okay, listen, what is my son going to be like, right? And so, but the truth is that, you know, Bryce wasn't like that, right? You know, and Bryce, you know, likes sports and everything, you know, but he's certainly not the, you know, world-class athlete, you know, and he has problems participating in a lot of group sports. And so what I had to do was kind of take myself out of the equation and then kind of look at, you know what's going to make Bryce happy, you know? And so instead of thinking, hey, listen, like, you know, I want my son to be the best, let's go ahead and put him in something that he's comfortable in. And so fortunately, like, you know, going back to what you're saying, there are more resources now. There are more, you know, leagues and like in basically groups that actually focus around children and young athletes that have special needs. And it's awesome. And so we've been able to find a couple of places, little leagues that should cater to that. And so Bryce can go in and feel comfortable. Because I remember when Bryce was 6, and I put he and Brian on the same little league team, and it was frustrating to me because I would take him to the field. Brian would go out there and play, and I would have problems literally pulling Bryce out of the car. And that's what I said. That was before I actually knew I had to pull myself out of it, and I had to put myself in Bryce's shoes. I mean, so, you know, to any dad, you know, that that has a kid that has special needs, and that he's not gonna, be able to, I guess being that fantasy, whatever, about him being an older athlete, just kind of take yourself out of it, and just kind of look at things from his view.
And to kind of talk about that, I've been blessed. We have 3 very athletic kids who've done well, still doing well, and so. But the main reason why we got them into sports is for those social skills, those relationships, and ultimately just to have fun. So the needle kind of changes when you see your kid. Oh, my kid is good. Well, maybe he could be the next Michael Jordan or Odell Beckham or somebody like that. And you start the perspective changes when the perspective should always be to have a good time. And so when we got Joe, and obviously if you know us, our kids 6'3", my daughter's 5'11", my 11-year-old's 5'5". I got big kids, and then we got little Joe. And so then Keisha could tell you, I would always treat him as if he was a baby. And she's like, you do know he's not really a baby. I'm like, well, that's true. All right, let's go. I got to pick it up. I got to get him to get him to go to the next level. And I was like, well, you know what? I just want him to have fun. And so now he's kind of, we got him a soccer goal. We got him a basketball goal. So I still incorporate the same things that I got my other kids to say, hey, you want to play? All right, let's play. But I kind of refocused to say, I just want him to have a good time. I want him to have fun. I want him to enjoy life. And so that doesn't mean you have to be super successful at sports. He's a very social boy. He just wants to have a good time. And my perspective changed. It helped me to take a step back and understand, even if my kid has special needs, ultimately the reason why we put him in sports is to have a good time. Yeah. So, perspective changes as you go through these things.
Mm-hmm. And he's not actually in sports. He actually wants to play soccer, which is something that we don't even do. But
I'll figure it out.
But
I'll figure it out. I might be a soccer coach for the first time in my life.
But you will be. He wasn't walking, running, or anything, right. and you did. We're like, well, he might not play.
Right. I when I watched him, he just struggled. His coordination was very bad.
Gross motor skills.
Uh-huh. And so now we're an adaptive family. We do, some people, we got hardwood floors, but he's got his little big wheel in the house and he's motoring around, and we got soccer balls, we got basketball, we got anything to try to help him have that fun and draw that love. Even when we go outside with the boys, we got 2 basketball courts in the backyard, and he's out there trying to shoot it. I'll pick him up and let him hang on the rim. And Keisha, I can see she's like, I'm pushing him up there. I was like, hang on the rim, man. Hang on it. He can,
Danger.
But you have to treat him just like everyone else. And for what I've seen from Josiah, he has really, done quite well in that environment, and he seems to be having fun. And he's shown, so much improvement over the last 2 years, just with his physical capabilities. And it's impressive, and like you guys have done a wonderful, wonderful job, and I mean that.
No, man, we appreciate it. Obviously, even the backstory. Thank you, Jennifer, for even getting into the home, because we always.
That's another episode.
Right.
We have more in stock if you guys want more. Just let me know.
I think we ran out of room. But his siblings too. He loves to watch them do things. So when we go to baseball games, football games, volleyball games, he pays attention. And so I've watched him try to even hit a volleyball like his sister. He's trying to hit a volleyball. The ball's bigger than him, but he was trying to hit it, serve it like his sister. And so he's in the backyard running around, and the boys play sports with him. They tackle him. All right, here, take this.
You tackle him.
I tackle him too.
Poor baby.
I gotta let him know.
Wait, so he gets tackled?
Oh yeah. We tackle him. Oh yeah. We him the ball. Dad, as much as you can while you can. Yes, Dad. We gotta. Because when they start beating you, you can't get it back. So
don't take advantage of the kids.
Even Joe, he gets tackled. I let him be quarterback, and I'm Lawrence Taylor. I'm coming around the corner. I'm trying to sack him. Oh yeah.
Good fact.
All right. Well, we're talking about sports.
No.
Okay.
Education.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, yes. That's a good topic.
Well, I thought I'd throw in something fun and ask if they could tell us the kids' teachers, maybe.
Which kid?
I got this.
Which kid?
Oh, man. Wait.
Uh-oh.
Miss Henry. I got it. It took me a second. I got 3 kids, man. That's a lot of teachers.
You got 4 kids.
4 kids. Yeah.
Right.
Go ahead, baby.
Got 4 kids.
Bryce's teacher name is Mrs. Rademacher.
Oh.
Hmm.
What's Chloe's teacher's name?
She doesn't have a name.
Okay.
I don't judge anyone, but she said that she doesn't have a name. So that's last time I checked.
Okay.
They need to correct that.
Yes.
Well, let's speaking of education, and both of your kiddos are on IEPs also. I don't know if we should bring this up because we're
feisty.
I get emotional about it.
You have to be feisty. You have to fight for your child. Obviously, both of us are in education, so we know the system from both ends. So, my advice to anybody is always advocate for your child. You're the biggest advocate for them besides them. So, make sure whatever happens, you advocate for them, because if you don't, the system doesn't always advocate for them and give them what they need at that time. And so what your child needs, and so I know you guys see that on a daily basis. You know what Bryce needs. So yeah, obviously you guys are educated and you advocate for him, and I would empower anybody else to do the same.
Yeah. So just in terms of advocating, obviously anyone that knows Jen knows that she's a fighter, and she doesn't back down, and she fights hard for her kids, and sort of a funny story. I remember when we were talking with Bryce, and he was maybe 4. I don't think he was 5. He was 4. Yeah, he was 4. And so Bryce was talking about all the preschools he had been to. I think Bryce had been to literally 5 preschools before he actually went to kindergarten, and it was because he might have been there for a week or so, but if he was there and if the school wasn't up to the standards, that we thought there were, that they thought it should be, then Jennifer would call me, and I'd be at work and I'd say, hey, how's it going? Oh, it's pretty fun. I just took Bryce out of school. Wait, what? I took Bryce out of school. I walked there and he was sitting over recording by himself, and the teacher did not know why he was sitting there. So she wasn't, and so she didn't have the capabilities to deal with the special needs kid. Even though he wasn't officially diagnosed, we knew that Bryce was different, right? Mm-hmm. Like all parents know if your kid is a little different, right? Right. And so, and that fight has continued, ever since Bryce was in, kindergarten, first grade, secondary, third grade, even up until now, right? And you have to continue to fight hard for your kid, because unfortunately, sometimes you're the only one that's fighting. Right. Yep. And so it takes you, and so anyone that has special needs kids, just know, that you do have to fight. Sometimes it's not gonna be the best result, but you have to be your kid's best advocate out there. Or you can talk to one of these lovely ladies on the call here, and they can also help you out.
Thank you.
MarkeishaHall.com.
Yes. That was his words. Okay.
Right.
Well. Yeah, right. We want to be collaborative too, but you are their voice, but it's not about me. It's about you, especially your dad's talking about it. So
no, I think as a dad, a lot of times, and a man, I'm sure Barry would agree, when you have educated women, I don't have to do a lot of the fighting. They know what they're doing. She knows what she's doing. And so I don't have a problem standing in the background sometimes, and I just be the support system for her when she gets off those frustrating calls or dealing with those frustrating situations. Then I'm there just to be that support system to say, breathe, take a deep breath. It's all right. And so, I definitely understand, both sides, but if I need to, I will definitely let my voice be heard as a father. And I think far too many times we don't get the credit, that we deserve. Their dads.
Well, I think because when they're tired of hearing me chirp in their ear, and I'm like, okay, well, you know what? My husband's coming to this next IEP. I get different emails sometimes and different people involved when he says something, since I'm always talking to the kids' teachers and things like that. And in my role, when I say, oh, he's going to come to this next meeting, then the tone changes a little bit.
If I was in their shoes and I knew that Dre was coming to the IP, my tone would change. So I'm just saying that right now. So any teachers out there, watch out. Dre's coming. Get it together and get it together quick.
That's good advice right there.
Peace.
Right.
So we're going to be wrapping it up because it's Saturday and me and Jen have some things to do. So what advice for newly diagnosed dads out there? Newly diagnosed dads out there, or dads that are still struggling with the idea of their child being... Wait, before we do that, I wanted to ask Barry, we talked about like the sports and what they're not into, but he does some really cool things. What's Bryce up to now? We talked about what before. And
what is Bryce up to now? Bryce is so Bryce is up to a lot of things, and so one thing, Bryce is very adventurous. So he has a bike, and he basically takes his bike and he rides it. And I think that it's awesome that even though Bryce has special needs, I think he's a little streetwise, and so he knows where he can go, and like he knows his boundaries. And like Bryce is also, I don't know, he I'm trying to think of the words to say. He really likes to like lift weights and exercise and do a lot of fun stuff. But he also likes to make T-shirts.
Yeah.
Sometimes unprompted, because the T-shirts are $30. But he told Bryce he wants a T-shirt.
Okay.
Someone's credit card's on file, but you might get a T-shirt. So yes, please don't ask Bryce to make T-shirts. I'm actually broke because of it. That's another note. But yes, yes.
So what dad brag do you have? I think a dad brag. Yeah. Hashtag.
No, I just Josiah. He's infectious. I definitely, of all our kids, he's so infectious with anybody. He's very loving. The people who meet us or come in contact with us right off of, they jump right to Josiah, and he's very loving. The one thing I will advise you, if you meet Josiah, watch your snacks. He loves and he gets snacks from people he really doesn't know, and he doesn't discriminate. No. So, he hasn't quite understood the stranger danger thing, because he likes snacks, and if he sees snacks, he's fearless. He'll go ask you for your snacks, and I just love his energy. He keeps us young. He definitely makes me just have a different perspective, and so I see the joy and love in his eyes.
It's so pure,
right? It's just genuine, and it's just he'll tell you I love you 6 times in 15 minute span, and I just like, okay, yes, Joe. At some point, then I just realized, you know what? I love the fact that he keeps telling me, because it's just infectious, and I definitely enjoy it.
But I would like to dispute one part of what you said about Josiah being loving and caring, because every time that I come over there, he bullies me. He calls me strawberry, raspberry, huckleberry, and a few of the berries. And I was bullied a lot as a kid, and so I was just asking if you could add that to your list of things that I work on, because
we'll talk to him about all of that.
Thank you. It's been going on for a while, and I meant to say something to you. I'm sorry that I brought it up right now, but it is what it is. So just address it, because I don't want to get bullied.
I'll talk to him about it.
Thank you, Andre.
I feel like that might be a you issue, but
well, I don't feel like I'm being bullied right now.
On another platform.
Another platform.
Yeah.
Another platform. Thank you. We'll have to have another call about bully dads.
Thank you very much, Strawberry.
He learned it.
I see where it comes from.
Okay.
So then we're going to get back to the message that you would give a newly diagnosed special needs dad or any dad?
My advice would be them, embrace it. Don't fear it. Every child is special in its own right. And so embrace their special, whatever that's special about them, embrace it, love it. Continue to set expectations from them. Don't, just because they have a need doesn't mean that they can't be successful and they can't do special things in this world. So keep those expectations, embrace those differences, and just love them as best as you can.
Yeah, Dre's really good at that, because I'd be like, he can't, oh no. And he'd be like, oh, he's going to.
Well, ditto to everything Dre said, because that was actually perfect, but also, like I was, said earlier, just try to take yourself out of it a little bit and kind of put yourself in their perspective. Yeah. And just know that every special needs child is different. And you might have to work harder. And there might not be a book, and there might not be a manual, and you just have to figure it out.
Yep.
And that's it. That's it. Because you just have to figure it out. And once you do, it'll be worth your while, and it'll be worth all the tears.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Okay. Well, thank you guys. This was very entertaining and enlightening. We're going to wrap it up, but I think we'll have this little group back here, because it was easy.
Like marriage with special needs kids. And
husbands. Yeah. We have a lot to talk about.
Like marriage with special needs kids, or just marriage in general? I'm good at one, not good at the other.
Right. Yeah. So you can follow us on Instagram at Markeisha_.hall. Join our weekly Empowered Parent newsletter. You can sign up on MarkeishaHall.com. And if you need any, if you want to master your child's IEP, go ahead and set up a consult at MarkeishaHall.com. So you guys have a happy Saturday.
All right.
Thanks so much. Take care. Great seeing you guys.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye. See you later.
Good job, people.